Daring Abroad, brought to you by our friends at Remitly. Download the Remitly app to send money back home.
Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Michael Zimanji. Now, imagine starting a whole new career in a foreign country that is over 6,000 kilometers from your homeland. Well, that is the story of Kadogo Nyawade, and today on the show we trace her journey from Nairobi to the Netherlands. Also on the show, you have been asking us to also feature Kenyans who are daring locally, and today on our Back Home segment, we're doing exactly that. We are featuring a Kenyan who dared from Funyula and went to start a business in Lodwar and is now the owner of the largest supermarket in town. But first, here are the highlights.
She left Kenya over 30 years ago.
My first destination was Salzburg in Austria.
How Netherlands-based Kadogo Nyawade changed careers from hospitality to nursing at 42 years.
If you ask me today as I'm here, what we do want to bring back to Kenya is the elderly care service. I started investing back home. We have a resort there.
Also on the show, from a hustler in Funyula, Busia, to a daring entrepreneur in Lodwar, owning the largest supermarket in town.
I came here in 1999 to look for greener pastures.
With that out of the way, let's start the show with Alex Chamwada in the Netherlands.
Kadogo Nyawade has come a long way. She has lived in a number of countries since leaving Kenya in 1984.
My first destination was Salzburg in Austria. But it was not for plan. I was not even thinking of ever moving abroad. I was just a Kenyan living in Nairobi and working. There were some Austrian people who had come to Kenya with the NGO, and they were to tour Kenya, going to places to find what nowadays we call fair trade, whether those viondos, kisi stones, and all those, and they needed somebody to translate for them. And when those people left after 6 weeks, they asked me to visit them. So as naive, I always say as naive as I was, I thought I'm just going to maybe evaluate what we did. But when I got there was already an apartment and job. And when I got out of the plane, I just stepped out and there was snow. You know, up to today, even as I tell you, I feel like I'll just get into that plane and go back home.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I say, no, I don't want to stay here. The first day we went to the labor office, I already got a working permit. I got immediately into the curious business because after traveling with those people around, I knew where the things are. I got very much interested in African curious. So I used to travel a lot home, and when I was in Kenya, that's where I met a Dutch man, and we got married in Salzburg, and I moved to the Netherlands.
Yes, that is how Kadogo found her way here, where she has been for over 31 years.
So what have you been doing in the Netherlands?
First, when I moved to Austria, I had to learn the German language. It took me like 2 years. Moving back to the Netherlands, I also had to take like 1.5 to 2 years because I found like German language was really corresponding with Dutch, so it was easier for me to learn it. And in that time, you still want to earn money.
Okay.
So the first thing what people do was to do production work. So I did a lot of production work. There was video cassettes. There was a company where I worked for. Then I ended up at Philips. Philips was a better job. It was also production, but it was paying well and it was good. And then after that, the company was closing. They were going to East Europe. I settled for 1 year at home. I was like really getting depressed. At 42, I went for nursing and now I'm a nurse.
Hers was on-the-job training, meaning from day one, Kadogo was in the field working and at the same time going for classes once a week. This was the norm for 3 years of her life.
After the study, I worked for the boss. There's people who gave me the training for 5 years, and then after 5 years, I became self-employed. We call it here self-pay. Self-pay and mean self-employed without workers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do exactly in self-employment?
They call me, I get called. It's like agents, you can call them agents. I can also just meet somebody who need care, and then I make a contract with them, and it depends on what they want. You know, care is so broad. I go to homes, and you'd feed people, you'd nurse them. And slowly, as I went into that journey, I came to find out that they have a night shift where you just stay with somebody who is in a palliative care, but they need somebody to stay with them in the night. So I rolled into, and I got very much interested in palliative care, which I specialized in. And so I have sometimes I work 24 hours one-on-one with people who are terminal until they pass. And I work with people with dementia, one-on-one or in homes.
Now, Europe is known for having a large elderly population as opposed to other regions like Africa. And according to Kadogo, one major contributing factor is its healthcare system.
If they find you have blood pressure at 15 or 16, they will take care of your blood pressure till you die. So you can live long. But we find about blood pressure when you're already 70. And what damage has it done to your life? You know? So they take health very serious.
So it's all about Medicare.
If you have diabetics here, they will start from day one. We start with tablets. They monitor you till you start getting insulin. So it is the care which we take from the time you found that you are sick till you age.
Kadogo's job is clearly not for the faint-hearted. Like other areas of nursing, it is a calling.
Me, I cannot work with babies. I cannot work with children. We have nurses who will say I cannot, even nurses who say they cannot do that. So I say it's a calling.
It's a calling.
It's a calling.
It depends on really yourself and what you like.
Yes, yes. Because even seeing somebody dying, it's sometime for us, when the person passes and we see them there dead, it's like, wow, they have peace. So you just prepare, you're going with them into the journey. At least you want them to stay, but you know that there's nothing which can be done for them. You guide them till to the end.
All in all, Kadogo's job is all about giving comfort, and from her experience, the Kaloleni native believes that time is ripe for Kenya to embrace this kind of care.
It is not our culture, but we'll have to make it our culture. We have to move with the time now. Through that, I volunteered with the Kenya Diaspora Organization here through volunteer service overseas. And I went to Kenya just to find out how does elderly care, how do they deal with people with dementia, you know. And I worked with handicapped women. And through that, with a colleague of mine who set up the Age Watch Africa. And that is what, if you ask me today as I'm here, what we do want to bring back to Kenya is the elderly care service.
Kadogo has come a long way from her days as a housekeeping and catering graduate. Looking back, she admits hers has been a journey of learning and unlearning, so to speak.
I've tried to change my mindset and say I like Europe. I don't like living abroad. I never liked it. And that still has always been in my mind. I come here so easily. My children are here, my grandchildren are here, and I would want to be here all the time. But if you ask me, I want to live in Kenya.
East or West, home is the best.
I want to be in Kenya. Yeah. So
why?
I love Kenya. I mean, it's, you know, I hear people saying patriotic, Kenya damu nini. To me, it's real. You know, by the time I just reach the airport like this and I see our people standing there waiting for us, that already just tells me, wow, I'm home. Here, there's always somebody who reminds you you are a foreigner.
It is evident that the mother of 3 and a grandmother of 4 will one day return to her motherland. She has already started the process through her foundation known as Kadowinja.
When I came to Europe and to Holland and Austria, and I started supporting my family, I moved here to the Netherlands, and a sister of mine also came here, but she passed in 2008. But before that, we used to support just a family, sending money to extended family. And after that, I set up a foundation. My name is Kadogo, and hers is a Winja, so it's called Kadowinja. And through that foundation, I used to travel home every year. And every year traveling home, I started to get that love, and I'm so happy I got that foundation. Because through the foundation, I had to travel every year. I call it investment because it gave me time to go know more about my country, and I invested in the students who are now already graduated and some are still in high school.
Now, Kenya's economy received about 523 billion Kenya shillings last year in remittances from the diaspora, a huge amount being channeled into investments, and Kadogo is one of the people contributing to this statistic. She recently launched a resort known as Kanyawegi Dala Resort in Kisumu County.
When we talk about investment, then I'm thinking directly this. Why did I start investing in this, the Kanyawegi Dala Resort? It's because I needed a place to call home for myself. I used to come back and visit families, and I would go to our Kariako home or to our village where my mom is buried in Kajulu. I would spend at families. I wanted a place which I can call my own home.
And as she works on returning back home, this is her advice.
I also noticed that by the time we come here, we change our mindset and become Europeans. If you want to go back home, you should not separate your country with where you're living abroad, anywhere. The connection with you should still be there.
Many lessons there from Kadogo Nyawade in the Netherlands. Always remember home. Time now for a break, but when we return,
I came here in 1999 to look for greener pastures.
how this Kenyan entrepreneur dared locally from Funyula, Busia County to Lodwar and is now the owner of the largest supermarket in town.
With Remitly, you can send money to Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and over 40 other African countries with low or no fees, so more money gets home. Loved ones can receive their money through familiar options like MTN, M-Pesa, First Bank, Access Bank, and more. Plus, an ever-expanding network of bank deposit, mobile money, and cash pickup availability. You will also get real-time transfer updates so you know where your money is through the whole transfer process. Download the Remitly app today and get a special offer on your first transfer.
Own your dream home for as low as 1.98 million Kenya shillings in Vipingo, Kilifi, and enjoy a flexible payment plan of 10% on signing of the letter of offer and the balance in equal monthly installments within 18 months. Supported by world-class amenities and infrastructure, our estates offer a unique, secure environment with a wide range of outdoor facilities. SMS Vipingo to 22365 or call us today on 0740 400 215. Terms and conditions apply.
You're watching Daring Abroad, brought to you by our friends at Remitly. Download the Remitly app to send money back home.
Welcome back to the show. Now, many of you have been asking us to also feature Kenyans who are daring locally, and today we're doing exactly that. We're tracing the journey of a Kenyan entrepreneur from Funyula in Busia County to owning the largest supermarket in Lodwar town. Alex Chamwada has more.
Chams Media has been serializing the transformation of Lodwar town, the headquarters of Turkana County, county number 023. And if you are a regular visitor, you'll realize that every time you come here, you will find something new. Yes, the Lodwar of yesterday is not the Lodwar of today. Now, join me once again as I take you through the new Lodwar.
This time round, we bring you that transformation through the eyes of Abdul Wamala Bakari, a businessman who dared to step out of his comfort zone in Sivare village in Funyula constituency, Busia County, to the far-flung Lodwar town, where he established the first ever bookshop in the year 2000. That is over 22 years ago. Yes, this is the bookshop, which is still an iconic establishment in Lodwar.
I found this county without a single bookshop. A county that is larger than Western, Central, and Nyanza provinces combined. The only bookshop we had was a small bookshop in the Catholic Diocese of Lodwar, which used to sell mainly religious books and very few educational books. I moved many parts of this county selling books, supplying books to schools, from Kibish to Kapedo, Lokchogio to Kerio.
Bakari became even more daring. He started the first ever supermarket here in Lodwar in the year 2010. He named it Kakumat. Again, he proudly takes me through the supermarket. Later, in the year 2017, he established another branch of Kakumat, and it is now the biggest supermarket in Lodwar.
In most of the supermarkets, foodstuffs are the #1 seller. Chakula ndio tunauza sana. But of course, vitu zingine, masabuni, vyombo, na vitu zingine za maisha ya kawaida.
Yes, this is a one-stop shop for many shoppers in Lodwar, both residents and those on transit.
We get our supplies from Nairobi and Kitale. After our purchase, we have our store in Nairobi. They are delivered in our store, and then after collection, our truck picks them up from Nairobi up to Lodwar here. For those ones from Nairobi, but for those ones from Kitale, we go pick them from the distributors in Kitale and bring them to our supermarket.
Bakari, who is commonly known as Kakumat because of his business brand, says when he moved to Lodwar, the population was so small that they knew each other.
Tulikuwa tunajuana kwa sababu tulikuwa watu wachache. Town ilikuwa ni hii tu. Sehemu ndogo tu. Ambao tunajua huyu ni nani, huyu ni nani. Huyu anatoka nyumba ya nani, huyu anatoka nyumba ya nani. Mtu kama amekuja na hiyo lori, kama ametoka Kitale asubuhi, tunajua huyu ameingia. Tunamuona.
Sasa mko wengi, huwezi jua mgeni ni
sasa hivi, mko wengi, huwezi jua mgeni. Barabara imekuwa nzuri, hakuna gari kuharibika barabarani.
As we walk through the streets, Bakari, who is full of energy and excitement, reflects on how infrastructure has changed from a dusty town to a modern, organized town with paved streets.
We used to have very difficult situations, and the only mode of transport between Turkana and Kitale was by trucks. And most of the time, these trucks used to carry goats. So wherever you traveled from Lodwar to Kitale, you reach Kitale, you are carried in a truck that is carrying goats, and you reach Kitale, you are smelling like a goat. So people could know that this guy is coming from Turkana because the goats urinated on him and all the smell of the goats, and so you are just smelling like a goat. You could rarely move without a truck breaking down between Lodwar and Kitale. And so you could even stay for 2 days on the road. Now you barely take 4 hours. The road has been done, it's 4 hours, 5 hours.
Nowadays, the load from Kitale to Lodwar is no longer a shame, but a piece of infrastructure worth blowing the trumpets about.
As Lodwar town continues to grow, its impact is felt in the aviation sector as well. This is Lodwar Airstrip, and it receives daily commercial flights.
With flying, it has eased our lives because now you can wake up in Nairobi and come to Lodwar in 2 hours, then go back to Nairobi. You can have breakfast in Nairobi and have your dinner back in Nairobi. After having come to Lodwar, done what you wanted to do and gone back. So flying has really eased our work, and the skyward flight that comes daily has really done connectivity to be easy.
Those days, Lodwar would be a ghost town at night, but now see, the town is a hive of activity with many businesses operating 24 hours, like this restaurant and this chemist. Both the national and county governments have done a good job in making the town livable.
This place used to be dark, but now we have security lights. We are operating up to late at night because of the security around town and the lights that have lighted up the town. And so this has really improved our businesses, and it has helped in people feeling secure because they are working in a lightened environment.
The hospitality sector is also doing very well. you can comfortably get good accommodation facilities not only in the town center, but also on the outskirts, from your normal hotels to resorts and guest houses. Toyota Kenya is also here, yet another sign of a growing town, with demand for vehicle maintenance services increasing.
This means that now I'll have more people coming to my shop, people coming to buy provisions for their needs. And so we appreciate, and then we are also getting a lot of other new faces and new opportunities. And this is really good, not just to my business, but to any other business and all the other people who are residents of this county.
For Bakari, Lodwar is now his second home, apart from his village in Funyula constituency, Busia County. See the home he has put up here.
You are really daring. It's a good house. Well done.
Thank you.
And his is a daring journey that teaches us that it takes the determination of a few to transform a whole community, and that business is for those who can see far. Bakari did not begin from comfort. He has boldly built his business empire in Lodwar from the scratch, and now he is enjoying the fruits of his labor.
Well done, my brother. Thank you. You've conquered the supermarket business. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How inspiring from Abdul Bakari in Lodwar. And that brings us to the end of the show today. But before we wind up, remember we have been bringing you investment opportunities by Centum Real Estate, including 2 rivers. Let's now go to Vipingo and see what they have to offer. Yes, Centum Real Estate has completed and handed over more than 500 homes in Phase 1 of Vipingo development. In Phase 2, you can now own a home from as low as 1.98 million Kenya shillings with flexible payment plans. Each of the estate has a reliable water supply and rely on state-of-the-art infrastructure and amenities. And with that, we are done. And on behalf of the team that was involved in the making of this episode, we say thank you so much and see you next time.
Daring Abroad, brought to you by our friends at Remitly. Download the Remitly app to send money back home.